Hello and welcome to Season of War. Me and Alex back here today for another Age of Sigmar battle report.
It's a little bit different this time.
Yeah.
I'm piloting some alive guys for a change.
Yeah, some Lumineth, more elf on elf action. The game today, actually, we kind of decided I'm prepping for a tournament this weekend, a small local GT. So I want to test it out because I have a couple new additions or a couple tweaks from last time. And actually, I haven't yet played this mission. Neither of us have in GHB 2020. This is Knife to the Heart. So only 2 objectives on this one.
There's no points at all.
Yes. But from turn 3 onwards, if you control both objectives, you flat out just win the game immediately.
So we rolled up Realm. We're playing in the Realm of Ulgu today. Mm-hmm. So there's a spell for a... mortal wounds if you roll below their save on 7 dice. So your saves are pretty good. So unfortunately, it doesn't make it as good as it would be against a 5 or a 6 up save. But
and short range on it. Short
range, only 12 inches. Yeah. There's a teleport that you can teleport, or more of a summon really. You can summon a unit to your hero. It has to be within 18 and it has to end within 6. And
outside of 9 as normal.
Yeah.
And that's the Realm Command ability. Yeah.
And then the Realm ability, the Realm feature is the -2 to run and charge from Overgrown.
Yeah, so if you're within one of the terrain, so not too bad. I can play around it pretty easily with the speed, but it means I can't land on buildings or whatever. So it does, kind of interrupt me a little bit.
So not super impactful for this mission, I don't feel.
Do you want to take me through your list then today?
All right. So I'm running the Orland Legion Battalion, which is the 3 units of Spearmen and 3 units, an equal number of Archer units. Wardens and Sentinels, of course. But and then the Cathallar, which is this handsome elf with a shield. I've then added Teclis, because Teclis is pretty good. A unit of 5 Dawn Riders, and a collection of endless spells. I've got the Spell Portal, always good with Searing White Light. Yeah. I've got a janky-looking Hyshian Twin Stones.
Yeah, so using the
Malevolent Maelstrom, which nobody's ever used ever, as a Hyshian Twin Stones. And then I've got the Geminids.
Yes.
So that is what I'm rocking. What have you got for us?
All right, well, I have a lot of slippery eels today. So heroes, I have my Akhelian King with Cloud of Midnight as my general. Makes all my eels battle line and has the command trait for +2 wounds, which is always helpful. Off the board, I have my Soulscryer Deep Striking with a unit of 3 Morrsarr Guard and a unit of 6 Morrsarr Guard. Also on the table, I have 1, 2, 3 more units of 3 Morrsarr Guard, 2 units of 3 of the defensive Ishlaen eels, and then I have 2 units of Aetherwings converted up nicely for my Deepkin, so they're little Aether Rays. And then I have a unit of 10 Namarti Thralls. I've also purchased a command point. So filling out my army, I allied in a unit of Khinerai Heartrenders. So those are the allied in from Daughters of Cain. They can come down anywhere on the board, deep striking outside of 9 on any turn. And, they have some okay shooting, but really it's more of a kind of board control, threat.
Sneaky backdooring my objective.
Yes.
Which, not so much a problem for Lumineth as I wanted to stay around the objective anyways. Yeah. But
and especially this mission, there's only 2, so it's not like I can really, sneak onto one that you don't have anybody on.
Yeah.
But it's another deep strike. Obviously, this is one of many missions that we might play on the weekend. So I'm, even though they're not as effective, I gotta figure out ways to, use them.
Yep.
Anyway, so a little bit of testing for my part, and obviously a mission we haven't played yet in GHB 2020.
Mm-hmm.
But all that said, deployment and everything is all done, so we're ready to go. And you finished deployment first, having the battalion, and me being 13 drops. So you're gonna have choice of how the game starts.
All right. There's a lot off the board that could just come in and charge right over me and eat things. So I think I'll go first and get some buffs up and See what I can do.
All right, so we'll be going into top of turn 1 with Lumineth Realmlords going first.
Alrighty, so end of Lumineth turn 1 from Teclis' aura of +1, and this is basically aura of +2. Everything's casting at +3, and yeah, I got all of my spells off thanks to that. But I really ultimately didn't do that much with them. Just got a bunch of Power of Hysh off, and then sort of turtled up, even more so than I was before. 2 units of archers shot at the unit of thralls because they were the closest. I did 9 mortals and 0 hits. Or I got a couple of hits, but 0 wounds through. Jordan made a save. But that one lone thrall probably won't last through battle shock.
-9, and you also did Voice of the Mountain, so he's -11 currently.
Yeah.
With 6 bravery, so he is sadly automatically running away.
So very uneventful turn, really.
Slow starting mission though, with
no points, no objectives to take. Yeah, we're just sort of waiting out to see what the other person does. So let's see what Jordan does.
Yeah. So we're going into Deepkin turn 2, and honestly, it's tough because again, round 3 being the big one where we can actually start, actually win the game. Do I want to commit early or just sit outside your zones and try to make you come to me, which you're not good at? We'll see. But I'll have to figure out this turn. So we'll be going into bottom of round 1 with Deepkin going next. All right, so finished up Deepkin turn 1. Again, I had the choice of whether I was going to play super defensive and go for the tie, or super aggressive and go for the win. Obviously, at this point, I made the aggressive choice. And again, you have to experience it to really find out which is the right option. At least for me, that's how I learn. So I deep struck my 9 eels, got the charges. You gave +2 to save to your Wardens, but
didn't help much.
Yeah, even with that, I got enough through that I killed them. Only killed 4 of the Sentinels, so not as many as I would have liked there. Should you get the turn and then be able to shoot in combat. So I definitely have stuff that's those guys are going to be taking a big punishment if I do not get it.
Yeah, I'm hoping for the double turn here. Or hoping not for the double turn.
Yeah. Hoping you want to win priority, obviously.
Yeah, win priority.
I'm in an okay spot if I don't. Again, the only thing you have to threaten my back objective and take the win is like if you kill everything late game maybe, or sneaking the Dawn Riders onto it. But board control wise, I feel like I'm clogging a lot of the lanes, and I'm not really too worried about that. And obviously, I have bodies on your objective, which you need to start to solidify.
Yeah, I need to win the roll and get some searing white light going.
Yeah, that'll do some damage. Again, no storing here. I still have my Khinerai off the board, so they're a big threat that you have to be worried about constantly. But we'll go into the priority roll.
Winning ties.
A 5 for me. 3. So me not taking it means I sacrifice a good chunk of those guys. You won't kill them all, I don't think, but I potentially, with run and charge right now, can get into a lot more stuff. So I'm going to take the turn here. I think just let's double down on trying to kill as much stuff as I can before you start dishing damage back. And even I might be able to zone you out of your own objective, potentially.
Yeah.
Again, you'll be doing lots of damage back, but I'll do my best to try and take and hold it. So with that, we'll be going into top of round 2 with Deepkin going first. All right, so just finishing up Deepkin turn 2 at the top of the round. Again, being hyper aggressive, going all in really on the attack. Managed to get into a lot of stuff and clear another unit of Wardens, kill a unit of Sentinels. I only killed one from that unit I was already in combat with because again, no 2 rend 2 damage anymore.
Yep.
And you're still Shining Company, so the -1 to hit definitely hurts. But I've taken out a number of chunks. I brought my Khinerai down over here, killed a single Sentinel, and then they're just kind of zoning out kind of that path. Now, again, talking about having taken the turn, I think it might have been more defensive for me to not take it so that I could potentially get the double into 3, or at least just avoid the double into 3, because now you're going to have the potential of not only this coming turn, but the double, which could be even more punishing. But there's obviously a lot to happen. I'm very solidly sitting on your objective, so you really now have to push me off there.
Yeah.
You have the ability to, but it is a lot of wounds to chew through. So let's see what you do on your turn.
Yeah.
And we'll be going into bottom.
Counting on Searing White Light to just wipe the table.
Well, hey, we've just seen that in a recent game.
Yeah.
It takes a couple turns to really start knocking bodies off, but again, me being low bravery and elite, it really hurts anything that does run to battle shock.
Yeah.
But we'll go into your turn and see where we're at after that.
All right. All right. So after Lumineth turn, the board is looking a little sparse.
Yep. I was expecting you to have a lot of output, but I think what I didn't account for was Geminids. Because they were doing like 3 wounds a pop to 5 or 6 units there.
Yeah, I hit 5 units with the Geminids, doing. I don't think I rolled a 1 for the damage on any of them, so 2 or 3 to every unit. Mm-hmm. Teclis popped off for the Searing White Light to every unit, and I rolled more than half of the units was the 5 or 6 for the D6, but I did not roll a single D6 over 3. But that's
a solid goes. Again, a solid 2 or 3 to every unit.
Yeah. So I cleared out a huge patch of the eels with just the mortal wounds from just peeling through the spell lore to see what different things I could find. Threw an arcane bolt, like just pulling everything out of the tool chest.
Even then, you got the 3 on that.
Yeah. So just did a huge amount of mortal wounds in the hero phase right off the bat. And then did pretty good in the shooting phase again with mortal wounds. Mm-hmm. I did 4 here, and I guess those guys whiffed, sort of only killed half of a Aether Ray, but I'll take it. Aether Rays can sit there and do nothing.
Yeah.
And then I charged in the Dawn Riders, took out, they lost 1, but then they took out the Khinerai. The Wardens charged in and
just mopped up a bunch of different...
Yeah, split attacks. So I put a couple into the king, a couple into this unit of eels, a couple into that unit of eels, and killed... I killed the king, an eel here, and 1 of 2 eels here. That other eel ended up running to Battle Shock. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I just did... you can see the difference between Jordan's turn 2 and my turn 2. I just cleared out a ton of eels, managed to take back my objective, but still remains to be seen whether or not I can take yours before.
Yeah, I think just on priority, if I win it, I can just retreat, move stuff up even, hold that objective, and just win the game. If you take it, you have your Dawn Riders that can... We were talking about make a charge here. Yeah. If they get, assuming they get their speed of Hysh off, they would need a 10 charge to take, and they would kill those Aetherwings. There's a chance that if you win priority, you could also take the game. Mm-hmm. Again, this is where I was saying, I think it was would have been smarter to give away the priority or the turn in round 2. So that it didn't set you up for a potential double.
Yeah. Because the Searing White Light hurt you huge here, where it would have hurt you less back here.
Yeah, I still, maybe still have significant casualties, but probably half or less.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because it was all the other short range spells that really hammered in and this, eel's only got a wound left. We'll just toss an arcane bolt at him or hit him with that,
It's just, and I just want to highlight, it's such a good example of where the priority mechanic isn't just about who wins priority wins the game. By no means. If I had given that away, would have put me in a much better position. So there's so much strategy that I think is missed at times on the priority mechanic, but here's a good example. All right, so going into the priority roll then.
5.
3.
Oh.
So your choice, and I'm sure you're going to take it here. Unless you want to give it to me.
No, I think I'll take it and see if I can searing off the rest of your forces.
All right, sounds good. So we'll be
you will get to move Geminids.
That is actually pretty big. After that, we'll just be going into top of round 3 and Lumineth turn 3.
So, Lumineth turn
Three.
3, top of 3, getting the double. I did a bunch more mortals in the hero phase, shockingly. I auto-unbound Geminids, recast Geminids. They cleared off these 3 units, basically. Searing White Light finished whatever Geminids didn't. Teclis shot the one bird off, which freed up the archers to do a couple of wounds to the defensive eels over there. Everything just sort of consolidated onto this objective, trying to hold it against Jordan's potential counter push. My Dawn Riders with speed of Hysh ran halfway across the board in a single turn, which is enormous, but then they got a 4 on a 10-inch charge to not win the game. So that's where we end. Jordan's got 9 models left, but he's got a chance to come and take my objective. Not necessarily a great chance, but a chance. 3 defensive eels, or 6 defensive eels even, aren't necessarily known for packing a punch.
A lot of attacks, but not as much of a punch. But that's it for your turn, and we'll be going into bottom of round 3 and Deepkin turn 3. Alright, so bottom of turn 3, just finished up my turn. Pretty much just brought both my defensive eels over here to take care of the Dawn Riders, which I didn't do. You were able to do the Aether Taurus for +1 to save, which just from going from, 4s to 3s, saved that unit entirely, right?
Yeah.
I think just in terms of the 3s you rolled.
I think the first one, or I had 8 saves to make, and I made 7 out of them,
Yeah. And then my second unit didn't even get a damage through. Pretty poor on my hits. You had to make 2 saves or something. But obviously that +1 to save and bring them to 3s was huge. And even though you couldn't have done, stacked it twice because you're out of range of your heroes, just that one when you need it is huge.
Yep. And then the -1 to bravery because I was out of range didn't end up hurting me because I rolled my battle shock well.
Yep. From last party roll where I automatically win if I get it, now I automatically lose if I don't get it here. Because you can just retreat out. Assuming, and you, by one model, you have the double move or you're able to cast still.
Yep.
So yeah, if you get priority here, you'll be able to, cast your speed of Hysh and just retreat onto the objective. Even without the speed of Hysh, you can probably do it, depending on your run roll. I mean, you only need 1 body on there. All right.
See what happens. 4? Ooh.
You would win ties, right? Yeah. All right.
All right. Let's see if I can get on that objective.
Okay. Well, we might as well keep rolling. I think there's little point in going into the turn, so.
All right. So measuring it out.
Don't even need to run.
Yeah, the Dawn Riders are within 14 inches of the objective, so they retreat onto it. And because it's turn 4 and it's turn 3 on, I auto win it as soon as they get on that
As soon
objective.
as you capture both objectives.
So, even without searing white lighting off anything else.
Yeah. I guess just in terms of looking back at the key moments of the game, I think my strategy going into it was sit back and avoid turn 1, move up turn 2 and go in turn 3.
Yeah.
I ended up doing that a turn early, and I think that really cost me.
Yeah, if you had waited till turn 3,
the exact same thing happens, right? Potentially.
You could have burned the command points for 3 extra attacks on 3 units and just gone to town.
I don't know that would have helped me because I was killing the stuff that I was getting into. It's not that I was stuck in combat.
Yeah, true.
Now I just think, again, not much changes if I do that the next turn. All you would have been able to do on your turn is do a couple chip wounds and searing white light and shoot at the birds.
Mm-hmm.
So I should have just held back. Turn 1, you're not doing anything. Turn 2, I take that hit and go in after that. Just because I wasn't able, obviously, in hindsight, I wasn't able to kind of weather the storm and tank that damage and sit on the objective. I think the other key thing for me is that unit of 6 eels on my turn 2 when I got the double by millimeters was stuck in combat with those sentinels, so I just should have been more precise with my pile-ins and whatnot the previous turn, and that unit of 6 could have been out of combat, charging into Teclis, and either whittling him down or pushing bodies back further so you're not fighting onto the objective.
From my perspective, at least against you, not necessarily in every matchup, but to give away the turn 1 instead of taking it, I thought getting the buffs up, that allows me to save a couple of things, but you killed 10-man unit of Wardens. If I hadn't have, you still would have killed the same 10-man unit of Wardens.
If you gave away the turn and the same stuff happens.
And then I don't have to risk the double.
And that's the exactly same lesson I learned last week playing Lumineth against Seraphon, where you just position and deploy well and give away the turn, and most armies aren't going to be able to get enough damage on you to really punish you too bad.
Yeah, I feel like you need something like Feck with pile in and attack twice, so you're taking out 2 units with each unit.
Yeah, or something like the Bloodthirsters that all attack at the same time when you have and you have a few of them.
Yeah, and the AoE mortals. That's something maybe you go first in that scenario.
But even with Deepkin being a huge, obviously, combat melee threat, just the positioning and whatnot, it's hard to hit a screen with the 1 unit, clear it, move on to the next, especially with your -1 hits in Shining Company. That hurts Deepkin a ton, going from 3s to hit to 4s.
Yeah.
I could have played this game super defensive, sat on the objective all game and went for the tie, make you try and come to me, and then as soon as you do, then I have the speed. That's a play I could have tried in this matchup. But I want to see what I could do on the attack, and I think I could still be successful. Again, just that turn later, in terms of waiting a turn, then
going on turn 2.
Yeah, same strategy, just delaying it a turn.
Because you would have just capped it at the end of your turn 3 and game over.
Yeah.
That's where this one's sort of janky.
Yeah.
You can win it halfway through round 3 or halfway through turn 3. If you've capped it.
Oh, yeah, exactly. And again, that's why we haven't played this one since GHB 2020, and that's a big reason I wanted to practice it again, before this event, because you always have to get a feel for it, right? And I haven't, even last year, I hadn't played this mission in so long, so yeah, I still had a chance to, come here, and you were defending your objective, but I still had a chance to come here. If I had killed the Dawn Riders, go for the tie at that point, and soak up shooting there and just try to outlast even if you throw Teclis forward.
Yeah. You'd have had a decent chance if the Dawn Riders were gone, because Teclis is the only thing getting over there, and he's just 1 model.
And 1 model, and they're ignoring Rend.
Yeah.
And Teclis has a ton of Rend, so that hugely helps in that matchup.
Well, good game, though.
Yeah, great game. Not as difficult of a combat for Lumineth this time, but obviously still a great game, and
it did not look good.
Yeah.
Going into my turn 2, it looks pretty far off. But
they can really do work when you get in close to them. and even with just a few models, having lost 2 or 3 units before.
Yeah, and just against an MSU army specifically, where you're just doing the white light to everything.
Yeah.
It's huge.
But anyways, obviously a fun game. So elves win. We're all happy, as always. But just want to say a big thank you to everyone who's stuck around and watched to the end of this video. Always appreciate all the support and feedback we get. So I look forward to some more good discussions in the comments and what you guys thought of this game. But otherwise,
Until next time.
we'll see you soon.